Let's get growing.
This week, Katie is doing something really special with our veg. She's making a kale broth with potato gnocchi and Cais cheese.
Firstly, I've got some spuds. These are some roosters. They're going to go into our oven at 200 degrees for about 45 minutes. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my shallots. I'm going to give them a little chop. So I'm going to take off the ends. Next up, we're going to put our little bits into the compost. Waste not, want not. We've got a little bit of garlic here. Not too small. And we're going to get some olive oil in. Nice. We're going to give this a little stir and let it brown and caramelize slightly. And while we're doing that, we'll work with the kale. We're going to de-stalk the lot. So we're going to take the kale, thumb and forefinger, and pull down. And then we're going to give everything a rough chop. You can kind of roll it all together into one big parcel as such. It seems like an awful lot, but it will wilt down to barely nothing. So next I'm going to get my veg stock in. I've got some already done here. So we're going to leave this on the heat for about 2 minutes. We want to keep the leaves nice and green, but we don't want any of the veg stock to evaporate. So here are some roosters. So I'm simply going to cut them in half. Still a little bit steamy. We're going to scoop out as much of the lovely potato as we can. And then we've got some flour here. I'm just going to use one of these eggs. When you're mixing your gnocchi, you want to be careful to not over-mix it because otherwise you get really stiff gnocchi pieces. That's lovely. And then we're going to put a little bit of salt and some pepper in as well. I'm going to flour the work surface a little bit, and I'm just going to bring it all off like this. We're just going to go it into 2 bits, and we're going to roll into sausage shapes. I'm just going to chop up my little pieces roughly into about like 2 centimeter little pillow shapes. And we've got some boiling water which has a little bit of salt to it. It's really nice, loads of bubbles in it. And we just drop them straight into the water. It usually takes just under 2 minutes, but we know that they're done when they rise to the top. So these guys are coming to the top. So we've got our kale broth here, which we're about to whiz a little bit. So we've put our kale back on the heat. We're going to get our little gnocchis, and they're just going to go back in to heat up. This is an Irish sheep's cheese called Cais. It's kind of like Parmesan in texture. And then we're just going to finish off with a little bit more of the Cais. And there we have it. It's a kale broth with potato gnocchi and Cais cheese.
Hello, this smells absolutely delicious. Yum, this is far better than a kale juice.
So good. And all of this can be grown in the garden, can't it? We've got everything in there.
Yeah, like that's what's amazing. You've got, you know, shallots, onions, garlic, potatoes, kale. It's kind of like an Irish
It's a real homegrown
stew almost,
yeah.
you know.
So this is definitely one of the easiest veg to grow, whether it's just in your containers or you have a bit of space
If you can keep the
outside.
pigeons away, yeah.
Yeah, well, and nothing a bit of fleece won't sort out at the end of the day. So yeah, put away the Gnocchi bullet.
Kale a chance.
Kale to the G.